Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to this week's episode of the weekly hoscale newsletter recaps for May 19th, 2025. If you're new to this series, this is where we take a look at a variety of newsletters in the hoscale community, talk about new product announcements, any product updates, etc. We got some cool things to cover this week. As always, before we get started, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new, or if you find yourself coming back anyways. It helps me to make a couple dollars, so I really appreciate it. Like the video if you enjoyed as well. Drop me a comment if you found anything interesting, or if you just want to chat. Love talking with you guys. But we'll go ahead and get started this week with ScaleTrains. As you can already see here, a little note on their pre-order price lock pledge applies to all the announcements made after May 2nd. If the tariffs are under 30% upon delivery. Little update in N-scale here due to the changing tariff situation. No price increase on those models arriving soon. In hoscale, we got a bunch of different models arriving soon as well. I do have one of those AC44C6Ms, the Sonic bonnet, so I'm very excited for that one. A little bit of a price increase currently as it stands right now. So just a note on these four models heading our way fairly soon. Reminder in N-scale, they've got new 82-foot Trinity reefers that were announced. Those have the same schemes as the HO versions arriving this summer. Little recap for those models. Very pleased with my first and second run so far. We covered this last week as well. We'll let these paint schemes step by here, but here is the new run of finger rack flat cars. These are the non-hypotypical versions. They have focused here, little details on the oxide red trailer train version. Little information there on the COTS label. If you're interested in that, some pretty neat information here. Here's a reminder of all the features and the road names and paint schemes, including those four hypotypicals. Models that didn't exist in that paint in real life, but still look pretty neat. Pre-orders for those and the other models recently announced are due on Monday, June 2nd. Second model here recently announced the PSC 70-ton ore cars in the Fox Valley models line. Reminder that the DM&IR comes only as a 4-pack and the other schemes come only as singles. You get a little bit of a discount with the 4-pack. A little bit of information there on that car. Very neat to see for all the ore modelers. And of course, to go with those DM&IR ore cars, we have the SD38-2s recently announced. They do have a feature here on the DM&IR specifically. A little bit of history there if you're interested in that. And a map of the system. Talking about their transition to the diesel age and eventually becoming part of Canadian National. There's a little highlight on some of the paint variations for the DM&IR specifically. You'll see the model there, the crooked arrow, number 212, on screen right now. Here's a list of all the road number specific details with the maroon lettering, red lettering, and of course that crooked arrow. ScaleTrains is pretty well known for this kind of detail. There's all those road names and paint schemes. We talked about those before, so I won't spend too much time on it. Reminder of their discount depot. Refurbished models available at a cheaper price if you're interested in picking up some of those. That's always extremely limited availability on their website. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested in some of that. They'll be closed for Memorial Day, but that is all we have from ScaleTrains this week. We'll move on now over to Broadway Limited. Broadway Limited has given us a special edition of their Broadway Flyer. Not too much here in the intro section. We'll move right on to some updates. The GP35s are in transit. The heavyweight passenger cars, those Pennsylvania cars, are on their way mid-June and later June for the sets of those. The big boy with PTC, estimated arrival in late June, and then we got the B6 SBs and the Shark Noses coming also in late June. Order deadlines, we did have a few extensions you'll see here in red. The Shay is the same at June 5th. The SD45 that was just announced last week, order deadline of June 12th. We did have extensions in the Power Car, extended to June 30th, and the Fox River extended to July 30th. So that's really cool to see. Broadway Limited said they had a ton of orders after the order deadline, so they opened it back up. I really think these are going to be some amazing cars, just like the Kenefic. We do have some samples in just a second. Reminder of the Conductors Club that Broadway Limited has. You can pay a relatively small fee to be a part of that, and you have access to purchase some of the locomotives. This run here is of ES44 ACs. There's those prices for you. Order deadline of those is June 30th. Now on to new samples here of the Fox River. Left side there is the Chicago Northwestern version. On the right is the 1995 to 2006 Union Pacific version. That's the version without the white roof. There's a later version, 2006 to present, with that white roof. Tons of lighting details on these cars. They will feature the exact same touch lighting that the Kennefic had, but of course with different locations for the lights. So many more lights here on the end. Just think these are going to be an amazing car. And next up, the Power Car, number 2066. This order deadline a month earlier, but still extended, June 30th. Some different shots of this car. This is the version without the antennas, so the slightly less modern version. And more painted samples now of the B6 SBs. These look very sharp. And of course, those Pennsylvania heavyweights. Very nice details on those. And they do tease a new product announcement, which has already come out at the time of recording, so we'll go ahead and jump right into that. And without any further ado, Broadway Limited's diesel announcement is the new run of SD38 ACEs. Full die-cast construction, just like the first run of these. Here are some of the paint schemes that we'll scroll through just a second here. Metal handrails, very nice to see as well. Pretty much just them and Rapido so far going for that. These are, of course, offered with Paragon 4 or DCC ready with a speaker installed. Here's some of those paint schemes, the Powered by Our People Union Pacific, as well as a few of Union Pacific's SD70 ACE heritage units. I'm sure we'll see more of those in a future run. Exclusive from Hobby Time are 5 Norfolk Southern heritage units. Go ahead and show you those. Again, not all of the Norfolk Southern units. Saving more for a future run, but very nice to see them start to come out. And exclusive from Train World to Fantasy Schemes, we've got a Pennsylvania Railroad and a USAF Gabreski. These look really cool as well. I think this is a really nice model for Broadway Limited to come out with. Seen good things about the first run, heard good things, don't personally own any, but that diecast is definitely their big selling point on these models. So if you're interested in some of those schemes, go ahead and check them out. We'll move on now to a new update from Prairie Shadows. Moving on now to Prairie Shadows, we have some new sample shots of their GP20C-ECO. I'll just scroll through these. I think these look very nice. They are still available for pre-order through Prairie Shadows, with an estimated delivery date of just Q1 2026 right now, nothing more than that quite yet. They do say that some revisions are to come, but they're fairly happy with the way this model is currently looking. I do think they look very nice as well. Rear ditch lights, of course. Excited to see this one come out. This is Prairie Shadows' first locomotive, so I'm all for more manufacturers making locomotives. This is a pretty unique one for them to start off with as well, so I hope it does sell well for their sake. Really like the details on this model as well, but just wanted to give you an update. We'll move on now to Walthers next. Moving on to Walthers' e-update for the past week. First model featured are the Proto 85-foot Bud Great Dome cars based off the Great Northern View series, now on Amtrak, available with factory LED lighting and extended drawbars for 22-inch radius curves, although I will caution against using those smaller radius curves. I have a few Walthers in the Ready to Run series, the Great Northern Empire builder. I can't run those Great Dome cars at all on 22-inch radius curves, so just a caution against that. Would definitely recommend longer curves for these type of cars. In the mainline series, an ACF welded boxcar, little feature here that is now in stock. Love that state of Maine scheme, got a few of those. Very popular, would definitely recommend picking some up if you don't have any of those. In a model we've seen before, the AAR double door boxcar in the Proto line, all the features you'd expect. Very sharp Burlington route scheme featured, currently available for ordering. And from the Penn Central Railroad Historical Society, you can get this special run of mainline NW2 diesels in the Penn Central livery, Available as usual in standard DC or DCC equipped with ESU lock sound if you'd like to check out some of those models and support that historical society. From Atlas in their master line, featured here is the 70-ton Hart ballast car. These are now available for ordering. And an N-scale, just another highlight of NW2 locomotives from BLI that recently delivered as well. If you'd like to go ahead and order some of those. Well, that's all here from Walthers. We'll go ahead and move on over to a feature from ClassOne Modelworks. Moving on to ClassOne Modelworks, another feature here on their peaked roof CE3 cabooses recently announced. We'll go ahead and check these out. These are the features of the rebuild models, a little bit of the highlights for all of them in particular. And here is a quick overview of each road number. I think there's a pretty good overview and shows off the differences pretty well. I do think these look very nice. They are a little bit steep in price at $150 and don't have interior lights. That is currently my main gripe with them. So I'll probably only pick up one of them. And I'm trying to decide which one. Either one of these rebuilds or the original 2200 or 500 series. If I'm going with one of these rebuilds, this 99629 is probably the one I'm going to go with, just because it has the red roof, which I think is pretty neat. That's a quick overview of those CE3 rebuilds. They're expected soon, they don't say when, so hoping that's in May or June, but just an update for you that these are limited availability. Go ahead and pre-order if you're interested. We'll move on now to a final update from Rapido. And our final announcement for this week, a teaser announcement of the E44 from Rapido. This is a 3D printed sample that was on display this past weekend at the PRR TH&S convention. If you were there, I think it looks really sweet. Of course, in the northeastern area. Never saw any of these in person, but I know a lot of people are very excited for this model. Just an update here. We'll see the full release coming very soon, as they say, but here's just our first 3D printed sample and a new product from Rapido. But that is all I have for you this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you did make it this far, consider subscribing. Really appreciate it. Completely free to you, so thank you very much. Like the video if you enjoyed as well. Share it with a friend if you think this might be useful. And drop me a comment if you enjoyed this video or just want to chat. Love talking with you guys. And of course, if I missed anything, feel free to let me know so I can include it next week. But thank you once again, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.